Good morning, Jim Hutchison, Lone Star Best Insurance. I want to talk to you today about something that's a lot of people's biggest concern when buying insurance. When I first meet people and I talk to them about their insurance needs, usually price is always the top of the conversation. And I can understand that. We all live on budgets. But then as I discuss their coverages and saving them money, we soon find that they're also concerned about coverage and protecting what they value most, the things that they've worked hard for. And so what I've found is that it's best to get to know my customers, find out what their needs are, what their wants are, and then find coverage for them that fits that. After talking to people about saving money and going through their policies, a lot of times we find that we end up adding coverages that they didn't have before, that they didn't realize they didn't have. One thing I tell people is the last thing you want is to find out that you don't have a coverage that you wanted or needed at the time of the claim. We have a conversation, and in that conversation, I get to know them, their assets, what's at risk, and it gives me an opportunity to best recommend coverages for them. So when it comes to price, price is always important. In fact, I'm a consumer just like all of my customers, and price is important to me. But sometimes I don't care if a certain coverage is more expensive because I know that it's going to satisfy my needs and it's going to protect what I value. An example, most homeowners policies nowadays have both actual cash value, which is depreciated value, and then they have replacement cost. If you're okay with actual cash value, if you're okay with the depreciated value payout, you could save money. But make sure you know that when you buy your policy. Another option that a lot of people don't know about when it comes to home insurance is different coverages that are not automatically on their policy. Coverages for slab leak. What happens if I have a leak under my slab? Underneath your house is not a part of your house. Therefore, it's not covered on your homeowner's policy unless you add it on. Another coverage that's new to the industry is a coverage called service line coverage. And that's coverage that covers all of the service lines that go from your house out to where they're brought in by the city. Coverages like your phone line, your cable line, your electric line, or even the water line and sewer line going from your house out to where it's brought in by the city. And this is a good example of making sure that you have a conversation with your agent and explain to him or tell him what's important so that you can make sure that you have those coverages on your policy. Another thing to think about, whenever you have a 1% or a 2% deductible, what that means is that you're going to pay out on any given loss 2% of the amount of coverage that you carry on your home. An example, if you have a 2% deductible on a $300,000 home, that means that you're going to pay the first $6,000 before the insurance company picks up any coverage or pays for any of the loss. So the deductible always comes first. So if you have a loss that's maybe about $4,500 in damage and you have a $6,000 deductible, you're better off going ahead and paying for that and taking care of it yourself before you call your insurance company. Now, when you call your agent for advice, which you always should, make sure that they're not going to automatically file a claim. We have a relationship with several professionals around the area that are ready and willing to go out on your behalf, do an inspection of your roof, an inspection of your plumbing or your home, or maybe even look at your floors and give you an estimate to tell you what it's going to cost to fix it. If it's above your deductible, then we need to have a discussion about filing a claim. But if it's below your deductible, then you're going to want to go ahead and pay for that yourself and not file a claim. Look at it like filing a claim is like having an accident or a ticket on your auto insurance. It affects you negatively when it comes to the way insurance companies rate you. They do this and they rate it in a negative fashion, or meaning that they charge you more whenever you have a claim, because historically or statistically, customers have a claim throughout the United States once every 17 years. Now here in North Texas, it's a lot more often than that because we have a lot of wind and hail. And that's also why we pay so much for our home insurance. All these things are examples of ways that you can save money or things that you should look out for when buying insurance. But ultimately, make sure you have a trusted advisor, an insurance professional that's looking out for you and your best interest. Here at Lone Star Best, that's what we do best.